Okay, so anyway, the reason why we're doing this is because you have the most complicated setup I've ever heard of for anybody in a cover band. And I'm thinking,
Yeah,
okay, he must be a member of Toto or Oingo Boingo or
it's worse than most of their setups actually. Where this came from is I was trying to put together a new cover band after the guys in my band all hosed me. And about I don't know, it's like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I can't even remember anymore. It was the first time in many years where I didn't have a horn section, and it was a two guitars, bass, drums, keyboards band, and we wanted to do some stuff that like had like sax on it. So I had talked to the guy who made me my main guitar, a guy named Neil Smith, who's here in Vegas, and
can
he told me about some software called Midi Guitar 2. It's made by a company called Jam Origins, and it's pitch to MIDI conversion. And then he told me about the software, and I tried that, and it's like it works at least as good as most of the hardware systems. There's like the latency is negligible. It actually, in at least in my experience, does less like phantom notes, which was always a problem. You know, when I did it before. So I started messing with that. This is the guitar that Neil made me, which I love more than anything. I use it for 90% of everything now. That's main stage. Main stage is kind of like Logic Lite. It's an Apple product. It's not free, but it's cheap. It's like maybe $40. It's a plug-in and virtual instrument host. So that's my pedal board. What you got there, the mission control part of it is a Line 6 Helix, which does all of the switching and everything.
you use the word switching for the pedal board. Are you you're
Yes.
referring to the software, right? The pedal board
Yes, it
provides.
switches everything in the software as well. Okay, so it connects to the Mac via USB. So I'm going to change to this is a patch for a song for California Dreamin'. And when you do that, now I've got snapshots. So it's, you know, I can have a clean guitar. I can do a Rhodes. I can do an organ. And I've got a pedal over here that the Leslie speed of the organ. And that's all coming through main stage. So this is a breath controller. And so yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? Uh, so for sax sounds or in this song, flute, which is probably really offensive to you because you're a flute player. Uh, but
Well, not
I
offensive. I would just be thinking, why doesn't he just play the flute?
because I don't play any flute. I can't play anything except guitar.
I
You know what I mean?
no, I
I
know
can
why.
play a little tiny bit of keyboards,
Yeah.
but that's why I did all this because I was recording and doing my own stuff, and I didn't have musicians all the time, and I had to figure out how to do this on a guitar. And the sounds are all what's native in main stage, except those flutes and the saxes and stuff. That's all a company called Audio Modeling, and they're out of Italy. And the thing is, the instruments are not sampled; they're modeled.
Is that an improvement over samples? I don't know what that is.
Okay, so the thing about a sample is at the end of the day, it is always a recording of somebody else playing an instrument.
Yeah.
What modeling does is it, in math, in crazy, intense math that I would never understand in a billion years, it describes what this instrument does in certain circumstances. So it allows you, when you're using an expression controller, which you have to use on their instruments. It could be a pedal, it could be a breath controller, you can do it a lot of different ways. But like this breath controller is not just breath. It's breath. When I bite down on it, it's vibrato. When like on a sax sound, if I pull my head back, it introduces a growl effect.
Wow.
And yeah, and then if I tilt my head, it speeds up the vibrato. Yeah, it's a little crazy. So it takes some getting used to, but you can make it pretty close to realistic. I mean, it's never gonna fool somebody like you. This band did one little show for Halloween, and I was playing saxophone solos, and I was playing flute solos and everything, and people were like, "Where's the horn players?" You know, which was pretty cool. I mean,
why don't we just have you, the drummer, and a bass player?
We've done some of this. Yeah, we have done some of this. And when we first started, we didn't have a keyboard player. And that was one of the reasons I really dialed some of this stuff in, because I was playing all the keyboard stuff at first. And then we lucked into somebody who's a really good keyboard player. And no matter what you do, you're always playing this on a guitar, and there's always compromises. You can't actually do certain things. I can get pretty close.
Okay, all right. So do this for me. On some of my videos, what I do is I will show the audience the path. Okay, so so get your camera and say, okay, so here's the guitar.
Okay, so here's the path.
It comes out of the guitar and goes where?
There's the guitar. Okay, it's going out of the guitar. Okay, that plugs in on the pedal board. Okay, I use the Helix because I've been using the Helix for a long time, and it's all of my guitar processing. It's my amp modeling, it's every effect and everything else. And it has unbelievable switching capabilities and output capabilities. I mean, I haven't even brought up, we use a harmonizer. We use a vocal harmonizer. Okay? And I'm running that too. Okay? And we just started that. I didn't bring that up because I just started using it. If you look up there in the upper left corner.
Okay, it plugs in there.
Above the sustain pedal.
Yep.
That's actually my wireless. I'm not wireless right now, and that wireless has an aux input on the side, so if I just want to be wired, I can just keep that set up on my pedal board. Okay, so that's what I'm doing right now. If I was wireless, it would do the same thing, I just wouldn't have a cable here.
Amazing.
Okay?
So
now, the output of the wireless actually splits two ways. The way that's not really hooked up right now, if you look right next to that little red dot, which is a Spider-Man head. If you look at my pedal board, has all these like little bobbleheads, superhero stuff. So next to Spider-Man's head there is a Quilter microblock. It's basically a guitar amp in a little pedal. The output of that feeds my talk box, which isn't hooked up right now. Okay? So anyway, my talk box is down in the garage. The other output of the wireless goes to a TC-Helicon Voice Live 2, which is over there on the left-hand side of the screen.
Uh-huh.
And that is just a through input. It goes in and comes right back out. And when it's reading the chords you're playing on a guitar.
Nice.
So you can add vocal harmonies with the right chords. So the output of the TC-Helicon goes to the Helix, which is down there. It's actually under my desk. That's the rack head, which is all the processing. And then there's a cable which just goes to the pedal board, which I guess goes that way, yeah. And that's just control. There's no audio going through it at all. That just sends control information back and forth to the head.
Okay, so where does it connect to a computer? Or do you not need one?
On the back of the Helix, there's a USB output. When I'm playing live, I have a microphone stand with a platform on top of it. Mm-hmm. And my laptop right there.
There it is.
Sits on top of that platform.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath the platform, I have mounted a power strip and a USB hub. Mm-hmm. So that everything can go in there and then it goes into the computer. Okay? Next to, so that the sustain pedal there, in order to not have to have an actual keyboard connected and be able to send sustain information, I use this little dealie right here, that box, which is made by a company in Poland, and you can plug a sustain pedal into that, and it's got a USB output. So now that goes into USB, and it's controlling on the computer. And then the same thing, the breath controller, just USB. It goes into the hub too, and it controls the computer. So yeah, it's ridiculously complicated. If I had to tell somebody, hey, can you set up my rig for me? They would have no clue. It would never happen.
Okay, so on the plus side, you are irreplaceable because there
Absolutely.
is no one who can figure this all out. Even if you let them,
well, and the funny thing is,
gave it to him, but, hey, Mark, can you do the gig for me? I'd say no. I cannot.
No, I can't. Well, actually, you could, but you would have to bring guitars and a flute and a sax and a keyboard, and you would just play the actual instruments because you're a talented musician and not a hack like me, and I can only play stuff on a guitar.
Oh, wow. All right, that's amazing.
What is Life by George Harrison.
Mm.
And on that one, I do the little at the beginning, but then after I've done that twice, I go. And then when it gets to the in between the verses, it's just a little. Just the trombones, and then between the other verses is horns and fourths. and I'm switching all of that through the Helix.
You become the orchestra.
Yes, I become the orchestra.